Hi, I'm Bob Christ. I'm a professional photographer. Chances are you've seen some of my photographs in National Geographic Traveler, Smithsonian, and Islands magazines, or in one of my books, such as In Tuscany. But I'm not here to talk about my pictures, but yours. We'll start by showing you some of the features and functions of your new Nikon digital SLR camera, and then we'll go take some pictures. Then we'll come back here, download, and print some pictures. You know, by purchasing your Nikon D40 series or D60 digital SLR camera, you've taken the first major step to being able to easily create incredible pictures. And because they're Nikon digital SLRs, they're ready to fire instantly whenever you're ready to shoot. As small and light as they are, they won't ever slow you down. The Nikon D40, D40X, and D60 look very similar and share many of the same performance and handling characteristics. The D40 has a 6.1 megapixel image sensor, while the D40X and the D60 both have greater resolution with a 10.2 megapixel image sensor and the ability to shoot up to 3 pictures per second. The D60 also includes an extended feature set that we'll learn more about later on this DVD. All 3 of these incredible cameras give you the ability to create breathtaking images. You know, whenever I get a new camera, I'm really eager to start taking pictures, and I expect you feel the same way. So I'll quickly show you how to get started having fun with your camera. While some of you will want to learn everything about your new camera, I suspect even more will just want to take the anxiety out of the new camera learning curve and just get started. Our goal with this Nikon School DVD is to have you taking great pictures in no time. To learn even more, watch the supplementary DVD from Nikon School, Understanding Digital Photography. Now here's a tip. I earn my living taking pictures professionally, and I still make it a point to study each camera's instructions to learn as much as I can about its controls and settings. I even carry manuals in my gadget bag, keeping them handy for occasional reference. First, let's put on the lens. Take the rear lens cap off with a twist. Then line up the index mark on the lens with the index mark on the camera body. And then rotate the lens counterclockwise until it clicks. Now, take off the front cap by squeezing these 2 buttons together and pulling the cap away from the lens. I've been charging the battery for about an hour and a half, and I see the charge lamp is no longer blinking, so I know it's fully charged and ready to go. You know, one of the things you'll appreciate with the rechargeable battery that came with your camera is that each charge lasts a long time. In fact, you can expect to get several hundred images or more per charge. Before inserting the battery, confirm the camera is turned off. Now that the battery is in and the chamber is closed, let's turn the camera on. Voila, it's on. Now, the first time the camera is turned on, you'll see that you need to choose the language and set the time. You use the multi-selector to the right of the display to scroll through these menus and press the OK button in the center to make a selection. Now, don't forget to select whether or not daylight savings time is in effect. Nikon digital SLR camera designs feature several sophisticated solutions to minimize dust that can settle in front of your image sensor. The D60 goes even further with its active dust reduction mechanism, which reduces dust buildup each time you turn the camera on or off. You'll need a secure digital memory card, or SD card as they're more commonly known. Think of this as the digital film for your camera. You can pick up an SD card where you purchased your camera or anywhere photographic supplies are sold. The greater the capacity of the card, the more photos you can store. And because the D40X and D60 create larger files than the D40, they'll require higher capacity SD cards to hold the same number of pictures. You'll probably want at least a 1 or 2 gigabyte card. Now, the first time you insert a card, you need to format it. If you're using an SD card from another camera, make sure there are no pictures on it because formatting will erase them completely. Turn the camera off before opening the memory card slot cover. Simply slide it towards the back of the camera and pull it out. Insert the SD card, and then use the multi-selector to scroll through the menus and find the icon for the Setup menu. Then choose Format Memory Card, select Format, and press OK. One of the nice features of the D40, D40X, and D60 is a viewfinder that you can adjust with a diopter for clear viewing, even if you normally need eyeglasses. Just slide the lever up and down until the focus brackets are in sharp focus. Now you're ready to shoot your first picture. If you've only been using point-and-shoot digital cameras, I think you'll really be pleased with how quickly your new digital SLR focuses and shoots. After turning the camera on, be sure that the mode dial is set to auto. Now this mode allows you to shoot pictures with point-and-shoot simplicity. As with any camera, holding it steady is important if you want sharp images. Hold the hand grip with your right hand and let the camera body and lens rest in your left hand. This way, you'll have good access to the zoom ring for the lens and the camera controls. Keep your elbows propped lightly against your torso. You'll find that this grip works well for both horizontal and vertical shots. Start by looking at your subject through the viewfinder. Now, an important difference between these Nikon DSLR cameras and point-and-shoot cameras is you can pose your shot through the viewfinder, not on the monitor. The super sharp and clear image you see through the viewfinder is just one of the ways in which you take control of your images. With the zoom lens, you can choose to get close to your subject and fill the frame, or go wide with a more encompassing view. It's as simple as rotating the zoom ring. Try it. So let's take that first shot in an area that's very bright, so we probably won't need the flash. Okay, Cindy, I'm going to get a shot of you here in the sunlight. Now right away you'll notice how one of the 3 focus brackets will light up on your subject, and you'll hear a beep. That means your picture is in focus. Just squeeze the shutter release button all the way, and you've taken your first picture. Now, if you're taking pictures where the light is a bit low, when you press the shutter release halfway to focus, 2 things will happen. 1, in the auto mode, the camera will pop up the flash automatically when it senses low light. 2, a light on the front of the camera called the AF Assist Illuminator will help the camera focus your subject correctly. The flash will fire when you squeeze the shutter release all the way. And that means no more missed shots in low light. Think of that.
And, oh, that was easy. Look.
Wow, great job. Look at that. Okay, so you've taken a few pictures. One of the key benefits of digital cameras is the ability to view them immediately and discard any unwanted photos. Right after you take a picture, it will show up on the LCD monitor. You can take a quick look or just go back to taking more pictures. If you want to delete it right away, it's as simple as pressing the delete button twice. The icon looks like a little trash can. Now, I've mentioned several times how easy it is to make great pictures with the D40 series or D60 DSLRs. But we can all use a little help from time to time. So your camera has a help button built right in. Whenever you're in a menu, you can just press this button with the question mark icon and get instant answers. Now, too bad the rest of life isn't that easy. And in some instances, messages will appear automatically on the camera's display. For example, when the light is too low to shoot in or no lens is attached. There are 5 main menus which you access with the touch of the menu button. There's the playback menu, where you can review and select a number of photos for deletion and choose other options like slideshows that you can show on your television. The shooting menu lets you set the basic settings like picture size and quality. Now, I tend to save pictures at the fine level with large files. That way, I can always make terrific enlargements, and it's easy to make smaller files later for email or for the web. You'll take up more space on your memory card with large files, but memory is relatively inexpensive these days. In the custom setting mode, you'll find a variety of options to customize the way your camera operates, from turning off the beep sound when you focus to changing the shooting mode from a single shot at a time to a continuous series of shots. With the setup menu, you can change the look of the monitor to suit your personal preferences. For example, you can leave the default option set to simple or choose the full menu to see all of the camera's menu options. You can even customize your own menu with My Menu option if you want to simplify your choices. There are even more options on the setup menu, so remember to press the Help button if you have any questions. Now, the Retouch menu lets you create trimmed, resized, or retouched copies of the pictures you've taken. You can even remove red eye, for instance, right in the camera. And how about making a stop-motion movie from a series of consecutive pictures? You can with the D60. Simply select the first and last frames from available shots and save it as a short movie. The Retouch menu is a lot of fun. It's perfect if you just want to pop out the SD card and bring it to the store to make prints. We'll look at some of these options later on after we've taken some more pictures. The shooting information display comes up when you turn the camera on or if you press the info buttons near the shutter release or the back of the camera. This gives you a quick view of your camera's current settings. Now, for some people, just knowing the number of pictures that are available on the SD card and the status of the battery charge is all they may care to know. Others will want to know the shutter speed, aperture, the focus mode, and other information available on the display. And on the D60, the LCD screen rotates automatically when you turn the camera. If you'd like to experiment with more advanced settings, you'll find helpful example photos that I call assist images that will help you make the right choices. Simply press the I info button once to wake up your camera's display, and then press it one more time to instantly access the options available to you. With the multi-selector, scroll through the various settings and see how the example photos represent the types of pictures you may want to make. Now let's use Flash as an example. Press OK. You can actually see sample pictures of how your selection will affect the photo. In this case, red eye reduction. These example photos are available not only for Flash, but for other functions too. Again, just press the I button twice, scroll through using the multi-selector, and press OK. And you've got example photos to help make your decisions. It's just another way of making this all so easy to understand. Now let's go out and take some pictures. What makes a good picture? Well, I've been a professional photographer for over 30 years, and while there's a lot that I know, I'm happy to say that I'm always learning. We've all been drawn to take a picture, and yet found that what we saw with our eyes simply didn't translate into the picture. Good pictures involve knowing how to see them in the first place. That's both a talent and a skill that gets better the more pictures you take. Digital cameras like the D40 series and the D60 help speed your growth because you can view your results instantly on the monitor. Start by making small, conscious improvements, and you'll be stunned how quickly your pictures will come to life. To make that easier for you, these cameras have 8 digital vari-program modes, including the green auto mode, that help you make better pictures with a simple turn of the mode dial. These shooting modes optimize the camera's settings to suit common scenes that you may want to shoot, which means you can concentrate on seeing and composing great pictures while the camera does the rest. The Auto Flash Off mode is ideal to use where flash photography is prohibited, or if you just want to shoot in low light without a flash. Portrait mode offers soft, natural skin tones. And Landscape gives sharp, vividly colored pictures with an emphasis on blues and greens. Child mode is tailored for soft skin tones and vivid clothing and background colors. While Sports freezes motion so you can capture athletes in action. The close-up mode is designed to give you detailed shots of flowers, insects, and other small objects. And Night Portrait achieves a nice balance between the flash lighting the people in the foreground and the ambient light of the background.
There we go. Nice. Good.
Let's use a few of the digital Vari programs. We'll start by turning the mode dial to the portrait icon. Now the camera sets itself to provide soft, natural-looking skin tones. It will also select the focus bracket on the subject closest to the camera in the frame, automatically. And the AF illuminator will light to assist the focus when the lighting is poor. Let's just find a subject, point, and shoot.
Right up here against the cabana here. Now, if I can get you leaning against here. Now, you know, when somebody's relaxed, they have their weight kind of on one foot. There you go. Perfect. Just like that. That came very naturally. Look nice and relaxed. Now, I'm going to step back here.
By being in portrait mode, the camera is already set to give you a relatively fast shutter speed to minimize any unsteadiness in your hands. And believe me, we all have some.
Zoom. There we go, Pam. That looks good. Now, at the widest end of the zoom here at 18, I'm getting a lot of clutter around Pam. So one of the advantages of using the zoom lens is that I simply have to zoom in. I don't have to change my position. And if you're working at the edge of a pool or something like that, changing your position can be difficult, to say the least. I'm just going to zoom in now and come in a little tighter on Pam. Ah, yeah. Now she's filling the frame much more, and it's much more about Pam. The picture becomes much more about Pam and much less about all the clutter around her. So let's do a couple more like this. The light is beautiful. She looks great, nice and relaxed.
So, I compose my shot. I squeeze the shutter release halfway. I like to see that her eyes are in sharp focus. And when I'm ready, I take the picture.
That's great.
Now see how much better that looks without all the unnecessary detail. Now sometimes you want to take a picture on a bright sunny day, and the very best thing you can do is to add a small burst of flash. If your subject has light coming from behind or overhead, either from the sun or artificial lights, the camera will recognize this in portrait and some of the other shooting modes. So when you squeeze the shutter release to focus, watch how the flash pops up. Perfect exposure. Now see how dark her face would have been without the flash.
Okay, girls, looking good. That's it. Okay, keep those smiles going.
We're still in portrait mode, so the exposure is set for natural-looking skin tones and a soft background, just as before.
All right.
Now, have you ever taken a picture of two people and find that they are out of focus, but the background is nice and sharp?
Thanks.
That's because the autofocus can tunnel between and focus on the background. To avoid that is simple. Just focus on one person, keep the shutter release pressed halfway down, recompose, and then press the shutter release all the way. Now another option would be to use the multi-selector to select the focus bracket on one of the people to assure focus in that area of the picture.
Good. Thanks.
Sports. We love to play them, watch them, and take pictures of them. Taking a good sports picture makes you feel a part of the action. And there's a lot of inherent drama that you can capture even in a Little League game or a kid's soccer match. Now before I even step to the edge of the field, I'm going to switch the mode dial to the sports program and have a telephoto zoom lens to help me get close to the action. One thing that's universal about almost all sports is that they are fast. Of course, that's a great part of the appeal of photographing them, capturing the drama of people in motion. But it also raises the technical challenges of getting a good picture of fast-moving people, often from a good distance. It's not as if they'll stop and pose for you. Now, this is where the D40 series and the D60 digital SLRs will really go to work for you. Using a standard zoom, such as the 18 to 55 millimeter, you get a nice wide-angle overview of the field. But if you really want to fill the frame with the action, you'll need a telephoto zoom. Two such lenses are Nikon's 55 to 200 millimeter and 70 to 300 millimeter. Both lenses help you easily fill your frame with action, so you can capture crisp, lively pictures as if you were right next to the action.
Now, one of the most important things with sports photography is to put yourself in the right place. Now, I'm right off the edge of the field here, not up in the stands, because I want the action coming right towards the net. I've got the long lens, and I've positioned myself so the light is coming over my left shoulder. Now, we've got a rapidly moving fog, but it's still brighter behind me than in front of me. I've got the long lens, and I'm going to wait for the action, the strikers, to come right towards the goal. And that way, I'm shooting at their eye level instead of sitting up in the stands with the rest of the people shooting down. So here they come.
Like the athletes on the field, a camera has to really be able to perform to get a good sports picture. That means it needs to be able to fire instantly, use fast shutter speeds to freeze the action and avoid camera shake, and it needs to be able to autofocus quickly and accurately. In sports mode, the exposure is automatically set, prioritizing a fast shutter speed and a relatively open aperture. The camera's sensitivity, or ISO, is automatically raised so you can have shutter speeds fast enough to freeze the action and reduce the effects that might be introduced from camera shake. I'm using the 55 to 200 millimeter, and look how the open aperture gives us that nice diffused background, like in the portrait mode, which helps isolate the action. Also in sports mode, the camera focuses continuously while the shutter release button is pressed halfway. The camera will continue to focus based on the information from the other focus areas as you continue to shoot.
Now, here's a good tip. With sports, it's usually a good idea to turn on the continuous shooting mode.
This means you can take up to 2.5 shots a second with the D40 and up to 3 shots per second with the D40X and D60 just by holding down the shutter release.
We'll set it by using the assist image function, like I showed you before. You just press the I button twice, scroll to the shooting mode icon, and press OK. When the light gets low, the camera will automatically increase the ISO sensitivity to allow the camera to select shutter speeds that can reduce blur created by camera shake. As the light gets even lower, you'll need to brace yourself carefully. You can kneel and brace your elbow against your knee, or find a post or a fence to help keep the camera steady. Another option is to get a vibration reduction lens, like the 55 to 200 millimeter. It helps reduce the effect of camera shake so you can take crisp pictures without the need of a tripod when the light gets low. It's really very handy. Look how that shot fills the frame. Beautiful.
One of the wonderful aspects of photography in general is learning how to see the world differently. Now, this is particularly true with close-up photography. Once you get in tune with looking closely at small and detailed objects, you'll be amazed at how fascinating it is. You'll find that when you're traveling, taking a walk through the park, or just through town, there are lots of interesting objects and patterns that make terrific photos. Nikon D40 series and D60 cameras make it very easy for you to explore this small world by switching the exposure mode dial to close-up and offering you a very sharp and close focusing lens. To reduce the effects of camera shake and get additional sharpness when shooting handheld, consider one of Nikon's VR or vibration reduction lenses, such as the 18 to 55 or the 55 to 200.
You know, a famous photographer once said, if you don't like your pictures, just move closer. Well, that's certainly the case for nature and flower photography. You know, you want to zoom in as close as you can to capture all the color and drama that nature serves up. Now, 2 easy things you can do to really improve your results are to look for the nice, soft light. That really allows the colors to pop. And once you get a subject in your viewfinder, check the background. You want a nice, dark, soft, non-distracting background. If you apply those 2 concepts to your pictures, they're really going to sing. The camera automatically focuses on the subject in the center focus area, but you can shift this with the multi-selector if you want another part of the picture to be sharp. Now, sometimes when you're this close, you find it easier to control the focus manually. It's as easy as sliding the switch on the lens to M and then carefully adjusting the focusing ring. It's
It's nice to have a little distance when you're working with live animals, so you don't scare them away or cast your own shadow while you're trying to shoot. I'm using the 55 to 200 zoom, which will still let me get as close as about 3 feet away from my subject, but look how much I can fill the frame. If you don't have a vibration reduction lens, brace yourself on something sturdy to avoid any movement. At times, I might even hold my breath before I take the picture. Now, this particular lens does have vibration reduction, so I can get the shot without too much bracing or needing a tripod. Then, gently squeeze the shutter release very carefully and try not to move the camera. And you'll be rewarded with some terrific images. Get to know the small world. You'll like it. Many great pictures of family and friends come along on a day like today. We're in Balboa Park in the heart of San Diego with photo possibilities all around us. Now, photographic situations change instantly, and between the digital vary program modes we've already used and the two we'll cover next, landscape and child modes, you'll have a remarkable level of creative and technical capabilities available to you at the twist of this dial. Children can go from 0 to 60 in no time. By utilizing your camera's AFA, or Autofocus A feature, the D40 series and the D60 can sense a subject that is standing still or moving. So, if your child is standing in one spot and decides to take off on you, your camera will automatically switch from the single autofocus mode to continuous autofocus to be sure your subject remains in sharp focus. Child mode will also set the camera to give you soft, natural skin tones. Clothing and background details are vividly rendered. It will also favor faster shutter speeds to stop the action and freeze that perfect moment. Now, here are a few tips for photographing children. First, try to shoot them at their eye level. You know, too many of us want to look down on our kids, and those don't make the greatest angles for kid pictures. So if you get a little lower and shoot from their eye level, they're going to take on much more importance in the frame. Second, to do that, it's always easier to use a long lens. A long lens will help you fill the frame with your children and their actions. And finally, you know, take advantage of your environment. Let the kids run free. See what they're going to do. Believe me, you don't have to direct them. They're going to come up with some more spontaneous and fun things than you could ever dream of. All you have to do is be ready to capture them. See how in this mode, the camera automatically selects the focus area containing the closest subject. A longer zoom can be very handy for helping you fill the frame without intruding on the fun.
All right. All right, let's get dried off. I think you guys need to get warmed up a little.
And if the camera reads that a little extra light is needed, the flash automatically provides it. Look at that shot. Just beautiful. And how hard was it? Mere child's play. I like to look for local characters to be part of my pictures. How about a picture? Yeah, you, come on. Come on. I'd like to get a shot of you right here, okay? Yeah, were you juggling in the natural history? Okay. All right, looking good. Looking good. Okay, hold on. Hey, can I get in the shot with you? Well, watch, I'll show you. Come on. All right, we are gonna be looking good. Sometimes I like to be a part of the scene myself. So I set the self timer, and that means I have 10 seconds to join the picture. All right, let's check that out. Beautiful, beautiful, that's the two of us. Not bad for a couple of old guys.
You know, as long as I've been taking pictures, there's still something so satisfying about a beautiful landscape or cityscape shot. In the landscape mode, the flash and AF illuminator are turned off. The camera is set to give you vivid colors with an emphasis on greens and blues. It helps you capture those rich sky tones. You know, one of the things I like about this scene is the beautiful light that we have here, a Southern California blue sky, and we've got a great reflecting pond and the botanical building way in the background. Now I'm going to use landscape for this mode so I get everything in focus. I like the pond, the reflection, and the building all to be crystal clear and very sharp, so landscape mode is perfect for this. Now I might try even turning the camera vertically. You can do this with landscape. You don't have to shoot every landscape horizontally. You can go vertically, and that will really emphasize the reflection in the water. We've also got some beautiful koi in there, and that will give it a nice sense of moment. So it's a great picture opportunity, and landscape mode is the way to shoot it. Sometimes, even a perfectly exposed scene will not result in an ideal photograph. Important details may be lost in highlights or shadows. With the D60, you can select Nikon's active D lighting, which corrects for these exposure challenges instantly and automatically while you're shooting. Active D lighting produces beautiful results. You know, the Nikon D40 series and D60 offer us photographers an astonishing array of features, like the digital Vari programs and all kinds of shooting modes. Now, sometimes there's so many of these that even I, a professional photographer with a lot of experience, gets a little confused. But not to worry, because we've got onboard help here. All I have to do is go to the third button down where the question mark is, and that's my help menu. Whenever you have a question about what a mode does or what a menu feature does, simply press and hold that, and boom, up comes an explanation of what exactly is going on in that mode. It's like having your instruction book right here on your LCD screen, and it's a great feature. You'll love it once you get to know it. The D40 series and D60 cameras are equipped with a great tool called the Retouch menu. So let's do a little in-camera retouching right now. Press the menu button and scroll down to the Retouch menu. We'll work with a red-eye shot first. We'll select a portrait. See how the camera automatically finds and corrects the red-eye? That's amazing. With trim, you can crop out the distracting details that sometimes have a way of creeping in around the edges of pictures. Let's try D-lighting now. D-lighting brings out details often lost in highlights and shadows. For even more fun, the Nikon D60 has more options to choose from, including filter effects such as the cross filter that creates starbursts from highlights within the image. This is really amazing technology. With other commands, you can create black and white prints, instantly make small copies of your pictures for emails, and a number of other options. Check out the Retouch menu. It's a great way to finish up a day of shooting pictures. These days, pictures can be shared and enjoyed so many ways. From the traditional uses like being printed and framed or put in photo albums and scrapbooks, to sharing images quickly with friends and family using email. With the Nikon D40 series and D60 cameras, you can take advantage of the latest opportunities, or you can keep your picture processing as simple and convenient as it was in the days of film. I'm going to give you some quick tips on everything from printing to saving your pictures for years to come.
Now the good news is that you've got a lot of options in having your pictures printed. If you're interested, you can get quite involved yourself in the editing and printing of pictures. But if you're not, don't worry. Just like when you may have taken your film to be processed and printed, now you take your SD memory card to have prints made. While the camera is off, remove the SD card by opening the card chamber, pushing against the card just like this. Now, take the card to an image processing outlet that you trust. Often it'll be the same place that once processed your film into prints. Depending on how they're equipped, they can either help you make prints at a self-service kiosk or hold on to your card and return it with your completed prints, including enlargements if you choose. Now that's simple, right? Now if you own or plan to buy a good inkjet printer that is designed for printing high-quality pictures, an easy option is to simply remove the memory card from the camera and insert it into the SD slot on the printer. Many inkjet printers these days allow you to make prints directly from the card. If not, you can connect your USB cable directly from the D40 series or D60 camera to your printer. Follow the printer instructions to pick the image you want, and you may even be able to edit the images as you go. You'll find more instructions in the owner's manuals. And with digital photography, once you download the pictures onto your computer, you even have the option of ordering your prints without ever leaving your home. Many online services are available to you for printing your pictures, books, and photo novelties. Now you have some easy options when it comes to transferring your pictures from a memory card to your computer. You can start by installing the picture handling software that came with your camera. Just read the instructions in your manual and follow the on-screen prompts. If your computer has a memory card reader that accepts SD cards, simply remove the card from the camera, insert it into the reader, and follow the on-screen instructions. But if your computer doesn't have a built-in reader, not to worry. Memory card readers are inexpensive plug-in accessories that you can leave attached to your computer. Nikon's D40 series and D60 cameras also come supplied with a USB cord for transferring images from the camera. With this method, the memory card remains in the camera during the transfer process. While the camera is off, insert the small end of the USB cable into the camera and the larger flat end into the computer. Make sure you're plugging directly into the computer and not to a hub or a keyboard. Then, turn on the camera. You can use the Nikon software that comes supplied with your camera or other applications you may already have on your computer to download the pictures. Even the basic applications that most likely came with your computer are very useful. Once your pictures are in the computer, you can use any number of software applications to enhance your pictures. It's easy to crop, resize, make the colors more or less vivid, and so on. It's also very easy to go to the online websites to have your pictures printed and share them with family and friends. Now, each site is somewhat different, but the basics are all the same. When you choose to upload photos onto the web, you'll use the site's online tool to browse through your computer and select your photos. Once selected, the site does the upload. This will take a little time, so it's best to have a high-speed internet connection, such as cable or DSL. Remember, before you download your pictures onto your computer, you always have the option of doing simple editing on your D40 series or D60 cameras using the Retouch menu. Now, an important tip when printing is to make sure you use photo paper. Regular inkjet paper is just too absorbent, so the colors tend to bleed together. Now, the good news is that there are a wide variety of photo papers, and you can create substantially different effects with the same photo just in your choice of paper. Remember, no matter what kind of processing service you use, your Nikon digital SLR camera is capable of creating extraordinary images. Yet, that quality can be affected by how your pictures are printed. So if you find yourself disappointed in your print quality, look first for other printing alternatives. Ask your friends where they go for high-quality prints. The better the quality of the printing, the more excited you'll be about your pictures. The bottom line is, you've got a lot of ways to bring your pictures from the camera and share them with others. Try more than one option and decide for yourself which is the best. Let me ask you something. When you were using your film camera, did the prints tend to pile up? piles of them stuffed in old shoe boxes? Well, you don't want to do the same with your digital files. There are a number of software applications around that help you file and name your pictures, so years from now you can call up a picture with a keyword or by looking quickly in the right folder. Take advantage of these applications and put your pictures in named folders. Okay, as we come to a close, I want to remind you of something very important. You must back up your pictures. Just as we've all lost emails or documents from time to time on our computers, the same can happen to your photos. And you know how that feels. When they're gone, they're gone. So I can't emphasize this enough. Make a point of backing up your photos. Now let me be clear by what backup means. It's not simply a matter of downloading your pictures onto the hard drive of your computer. That's a start, but your photos should be copied in one or even two other places. Consider these options. External hard drives are offering more storage for less money all the time. They can sit on your desk, attached to your computer, and you can easily back up your photo files and your other work. Of course, external hard drives go down sometimes too, so take the time to burn DVDs or CDs of your photos and put them in a safe place. Most of the online photo websites offer a limited amount of space that you can use for a backup. Plus, there are other sites that specialize in backup for all kinds of data, including photos. Your memories are precious, and the D40 series and D60 will help you capture them beautifully and easily. Keep them safe. We hope you enjoyed learning about how to use your new camera. Take just a little time exploring its capability and try out the Digital Vary program modes, along with many of the wonderful features we've shown you. Let your creativity be your guide to great pictures, and let your D40, D40X, or D60 camera take you there. I expect you'll be admiring some new pictures very soon. Now, if you think you'd like to go further with photography, then check out our second DVD called Understanding Digital Photography. There, we'll go a little deeper into the technology, and I'll show you how to unlock some of the features through the advanced modes, including program mode, shutter priority, and aperture priority. And you'll find that even in the advanced modes, Nikon's cameras make it easy for you with powerful help information and assist images. Well, thanks for your time. I'm Bob Christ for the Nikon School. Have fun taking your best pictures ever.